Today's interview is brought to you by Macabre Marketing. If you're in the indie horror field, movies, authors, YouTubers, and podcasters, check out Macabre Marketing. They are amazing when it comes to press releases, interviews, social media management. They know how to put your name out there. And if you're in the indie horror, you definitely need that upper hand to help you stand out. So please check out Macabre Marketing and tell them that the Horror Room sent you. Hello everyone, welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another Indie Women of Horror Spotlight. Today I have an actress, songwriter, singer, and she is back as Mildred in Grotesque 2. I have Elizabeth Chamberlain. Elizabeth, thank you for coming to the Horror Room.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right, so I was a huge fan of the original Grotesque, and you just got done shooting part 2. So tell us a little bit, because Mildred is back. So tell us, if you can, a little bit about Grotesque 2.
Yeah, there's a lot about Grotesque 2. Grotesque 2 has the same flavor, the same vibe, the same energy as Grotesque 1, but it's just slightly better in almost every way. We all have a little bit of experience. We have a lot of the same team, a lot of the same crew and cast, but we have one movie behind us, right? And so we kind of know a little bit more what we're doing this time, and we just went all out with everything that we could, going as hard as we could. So it features Mildred Moyer again. This time, she has her nose fixed, so she doesn't have to go through that again. And she thinks she has her life together, she thinks she has everything wrapped up, and then things go wrong again, and Mildred Moyer is back. She finds herself in a religious group at one point, and it kind of revolves around that kind of storyline. So it goes back to camp, and it goes back to a lot of gory murder, so it's back in the same place that we love from Grotesque 1.
Awesome. Yeah, because I love part 1. Part 1 was a bunch of insane gore, all the way throughout. Now, did you guys up the level this time around?
Yeah, we definitely did. We just had a little bit of a higher budget, to be honest, and so we did just go a little bit deeper with our gore. And Jamie Clark, she's been getting a lot of experience now that she's out of school. She's been getting really, really, really good. So she had a lot of like really creative ideas that we just were brand new and just kind of came out of nowhere, that we were really excited to put into the movie. So I would say, yeah, the gore it's all original and unique. And there are there's some pulls from Grotesque 1 that we kind of give a little homage to. But for the most part, all of the kills are still like brand new and still unique. I'm surprised that we keep coming up with them. Honestly, they're all, it's like, that's a lot. There's a lot of murder. I'm not going to lie.
So how is it to be I would say, a horror villain in the movie?
It's so fun. It's so fun. Like, I get to do things as Mildred Moyer that I would never do in my daily life, right? Like, I get to live such a wild life, and she just, like, there's nothing Mildred can't do. She goes and she goes and climbs things and runs around, and she's really innovative and uses things that she just sees around her to do. And I don't know, like, that's such a fun way to live, and obviously not something I would do in my daily life. So yeah, I think that's the funnest part about playing her, is there's just nothing she can't do, and she does everything.
Now, besides the murdering, I hope, is there a little bit of yourself in Mildred?
Yeah, I think so. Something about Brandon and Brandon Reines has been collaborating with me. We've been friends for a number of years now. And so he actually kind of wrote this role around me. So it does sit very much in like my normal characterization. It's not a huge stretch for me, other than the actual behavior that goes on.
Yes.
But as for how she speaks and how she her little quirks and things like that, Brandon wrote it in a very like approachable way for me. It's very easy for me to grasp. So I don't know, I'm very appreciative of that. It's not a huge transformation in order for me to step into her character. I think Mildred is very much my own, to be honest. Like I really did make her as Elizabeth Chamberlain playing Mildred Moyer and vice versa. Like it really is something I feel a little bit of ownership over because of that. Unlike playing a character that's been played by a bunch of different actors before, I really feel like this one is really home to me.
Now, I don't know if you can tell me this. Will we see more of Mildred after part 2?
That's a really good question. we do really, really, really want to make Grotesque 3. It is in the books. Where we don't have it planned right now. We don't have it scheduled, but we have, we have a general concept for it and so on. I really hope so. I don't know if that's a good enough answer, but I really, really hope so. Like, I would like to do a bunch. I would like to just go on until like Grotesque 10 personally. But we'll see. We'll see how Grotesque 2 is received, and we'll see. It's a lot of work. That's the thing. It's a lot of work, and we really want all of our team to come back. We don't want to just hire a new team. What's the point of that? So we really want everybody who can come back, and it's hard. It's hard to schedule a lot of people around something that big, but we hope so.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to the new one. Now, you seem like a sweet person. Like, how do you go from Elizabeth Chamberlain to murderous killer Mildred Moyer? How do you get yourself into that mindset, acting wise?
I think it's just, honestly, I think it's not thinking about it too deeply, not taking yourself too seriously about it. Like, I take my work very seriously. I take my work very professionally. But when I'm Mildred, she doesn't take anything very seriously. She's just happy-go-lucky. Everything that she does in her life is normal to her. Like, somebody insults her and she goes crazy and viciously murders somebody. That's like a normal reaction for her. That is just where she normally lives. So I just think, what would I normally do in that situation? Where do I normally live? It just feels, just where it just feels real. It's a spot where it just kind of sinks in, and it's just very natural for her. So it doesn't feel like that much of a stretch. It doesn't feel like that when I'm playing Mildred, because the whole universe is just so well built around that it just, nothing that she does is really out of ordinary for her. It's all very much within her realm.
Yeah, because because we all think about, not on a daily basis, about killing someone at work or killing an ex or someone who's wronged us. But Mildred's like, fuck it.
Yeah, she just does it.
I got this list. Anybody who's wronged me my entire life, they're gone.
Yeah, it's really fun. She doesn't hold back at all. She doesn't just make plans and then never do it. She just does it instantly. She's very impulsive and just follows how she feels at all times. It's actually kind of like a little bit relaxing and like a weightlifting in a way. You gotta get those energies out that maybe a person wouldn't in their normal life.
So how did you get into horror acting? I mean, you've been knocking out movies quite a bit since you graduated in college. I mean, you just graduated university in 2021.
Yeah, well, actually, Brandon Reines did give me my start, to be honest. I've been acting for probably about a decade now, where I started out in theater. I started out in high school theater, and then my high school teacher told me to go to university for acting, and I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. He sent me to Grant MacEwan, took the theater arts program there, went to the U of A, did the acting Bachelor of Fine Arts acting program there, and then graduated. And in process of that, like at the same time, that's when I met Brandon. There was a casting call posted online for one of his first feature films, Cold Comfort at the time. Poster's right there, Cold Comfort. It was rebranded and it was later released as The Project instead of Cold Comfort, but that is what it was called when I was attached to it originally. And yeah, when I had auditioned for him, and Katie Gobert at the time too, she and him like really just, I don't know, we really got along, the three of us. And so everything after that, we just continued to do together. So honestly, I pretty much owe my whole career to Brandon, because I got a lot of notoriety from working with him in Higher Universe Pictures. And a lot of the jobs I get, a lot of the work I do is based off of people seeing me. So I do see casting calls and I do audition for them. That is also a huge part of my work. But a lot of times people just email me and say, hey, I saw you in I'm Haunted, or I saw you in Grotesque, or I saw you in Hotbox, and I want to hire you for my film. And that's all because of Brandon, because Brandon makes these films and he gets those films out there almost instantly, and people are able to see the stuff that we've made. So that's pretty much how it's gone, to be honest.
And Brandon, I've interviewed him. Amazing director, filmmaker, great guy as well. And speaking of Brandon, you two actually worked on I Am Haunted, like you said, which is a found footage movie that actually got a kind of a cult following.
Yeah.
And you just wrapped up on part 2 of that. So tell us a little bit about part 2. Where is it going to come? Is it going to follow part 1, or is it a completely different story?
Yes, it does follow part 1. Pretty much, it's supposed to be picked up a little bit after Genesis's story. Like somebody goes and finds her tapes basically, and then starts their own vlog about that. I have read the script and it's really, really good. It's quite exceptional. I'm not featured in that one the same way that I'm featured in the first one, because obviously Genesis doesn't make it. But it's a real cult class. Like people really picked up on it. There was a moment where we had released Grotesque, distributed it. We distributed Grotesque, and then afterwards we had distributed I'm Haunted, and there was a moment where I'm Haunted was like more popular than Grotesque. Obviously Grotesque ended up coming back up, but we were like, we made I'm Haunted on zero budget with just me and Brandon's phone. And it was like so popular at one point. It was crazy. It was really funny. And that's when Brandon wrote the second script. He's like, well, if people like it that much, I guess they're going to get more of it. It's really, really exciting. And Danielle Kervanke plays the main character in that one. And she is just such a delightful person. Oh my gosh. I've had the pleasure of working with her in multiple films, and she's super professional, super committed, super amazing in every way. And she loves horror. She just has such a she just lives there sometimes. Like she has such a creepy vibe when she acts. She's super sweet and not creepy at all in normal life. But I'm a huge fan of Danielle, so I'm really excited to see it actually.
I'm excited to. I mean, I'm a huge found footage guy.
Yeah.
And I'm Haunted is definitely a fun ride. If you haven't seen it, by the way, Grotesque, I'm Haunted, they're streaming on Tubi right now, free. So definitely check them out. Now, Macabre Marketing, I followed them, and I saw that you're also starring in a movie called Alien Storm. Tell us a little bit about Alien Storm. Is that being released soon too, or has that finished production?
Yeah, Alien Storm, we filmed kind of at the beginning of the year, and I actually went to Las Vegas for that one. That one was filmed there, and that's with Mahal Empire Productions. It's really an interesting film. It's really, really, it has that horror vibe, but it also has a science fiction vibe, which is really fun. So I ended up, that was my first film that I had done with the Mahals, and I just play a character that only has a couple of lines. I kind of appear throughout, but I had a really good time doing that. That is why I ended up working with them again, and I ended up doing Cursed Waters, which is kind of an action adventure thriller horror. That's a lot of genres in one, but it really is all of those things. It's a pirate film as well, and that one I have a more substantial role. I do play one of the lead characters in that one. And we went and did that one in actual Hollywood. We filmed a lot in the Hollywood area in LA. And that one would not have happened if I hadn't previously done Alien Storm with them. That is kind of how they discovered me and discovered how I act and how I worked on set. And then they asked me to come back for the second film. So that was really, really cool.
Nice. Yeah. Now Cursed Water is a horror pirate movie?
Yeah, it really is. So basically the plot of it is there's the ship of like ragtag kind of misfits that don't really fit in, and they're fleeing from the Navy, and their Navy and the ship ensue in like this naval battle. The pirates end up stranded on an island. The Navy pursues them onto this island, and then when we're on the island, all of a sudden, like suspicious, kind of creepy things start happening. People start disappearing, like nobody's really sure what's going on. And then horror and chaos ensues.
Yes, happened.
So that one's a really, that's honestly, that's one of my most favorite like recent projects, as well as obviously Grotesque, which is very dear to me. But I had a lot of fun in that one. There's lots of sword fighting and swashbuckling, and it was really good. Yeah.
Now, did you have to talk pirate talk in that movie?
Talk pirate talk? What do you mean?
Yeah. Did you have to talk pirate talk or no?
Well, in the movie, we're all, like I said, we're all kind of ragtag, so we're from a bunch of different places, and I have a character who is my dad in that one, and he is the actual actor, Wesley Cannon. He is from, I think he said southern Texas, I believe. He's gonna be like, I'm from the east side. I don't know. He's from Texas somewhere in that general southern area. And so they actually had me imitate his accent as best as little Canadian girl could. And it was I don't know, I think it was really cool. And he said I did a good job. So he helped me out a lot with that. There would be sometimes we would be filming and I would say a word and he would just stop and look at me. Try that again. And I was like, okay, thanks. So yeah, but there were some people like one of the main characters had a Scottish accent. Somebody has a Japanese accent. Like everybody is different.
Okay. Now, have you ever had to do an accent in any of your roles?
Yeah, I've done English a lot of accent work actually. Not so much for film. I think that might actually be the first accent, like real accent that I've done for a feature, I think. Yeah. But in theater, I've done lots. At the U of A, actually, as a part of our acting degree, we did a lot of voice work, a lot of speech work, especially with David Lee. David Lee is the professor there that does the speech work with us, and he was so good. He's so good. So he we did a unit on basically all of the standard dialects that you would need to learn. So we did a lot of British, like doing RP and Cockney and Yorkshire and things like that. We did, a general American dialect. We did the general Southern American dialect. We did a little bit of Virginia, like West, like that kind of thing. But then we also did a little bit of Texas. And we learned a little bit of like Scottish and Irish and things like that as well. So we did kind of do a sweep of everything over the course of probably a year and a half. But then when you actually go and do it, you have to touch back up on those things and make sure you're saying things as accurately as possible so that you insult as few people as possible. Yes. But yeah, I would say that I have a pretty good grasp over that. It's not super out of my range. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. Let me hear your Irish accent. On the spot.
Oh. This is the thing. Definitely touch up with it before you do it. I would not do an accent on the spot. And for that matter, like on my resume, I always put like dialect work and accent work. I don't put specific ones because they'll do that in your audition. They'll be like, okay, do that monologue again, but do it in a Russian accent. It's like, okay, like, oh, that's so nerve-wracking when people do that. It's like, no, give me dialogue, sorry, and I will work on my dialect.
I feel like my English accent sounds like my Irish. It sounds like an Irish accent. So it sounds like a Jamaican accent. So I feel like they all sound the same. So I'm definitely not a guy that could pull that off.
Yeah. That's fair. It's really hard. It's not an easy thing.
All right. So what's next for you? You just wrapped up a whole bunch of projects. You got anything in the works?
Yes. At the end of October, I do have a private screening for one of the films I worked on last year, and that's called Markings of Murder. It's another horror film. It was done by Hot Shots Films with Jarvis Grainer. I don't know if you know him. He's pretty popular in the Edmonton area and really good friends with me and Brandon Reines. Okay. And so we do have a little private screening for that. Then that will be released afterwards. And then I am at the beginning of November, I am doing a series of short films in Regina with Character Flaw Productions. So that's with Rick Anthony and Bryce Schlamp are the directors of that. They do a co-directing kind of team. It's really cool. And so they're releasing a series of 5 short films right now. It used to be 4 and now it's 5, so it might end up being more. And I appear in 3 of them as the same character that reappears. So I'm just finishing up, and we're going to do the 3rd one in the beginning of the first half of November here. What else? And then right now I am assistant directing a musical for children. So that will be going up at the end of, the beginning of December, at the end of the year. We're doing The Little Mermaid with Broadway North Youth Company. So those are the things that I'm working on right now and upcoming. Yeah.
Any ambition to go behind the camera eventually?
Oh my goodness. Well, honestly, with Grotesque, I do a lot of, like, I'm a producer on Grotesque, so I do a lot of production work with the team on that. I primarily do like that kind of work for films that I'm acting in. I don't typically go and do things unless people ask me, unless they reach out to me and say, hey, I need a specific person for this specific job, then I'd probably do it. But I don't typically look for those kinds of jobs. I'm really focusing on being a performer. However, in Markings of Murder, I did a little bit of like sound design for that one. Not necessarily sound design. That's probably a bad way to say it, but I did a little bit of composing for the soundtrack. And that was really fun, and I would definitely do that again. And I've done a lot of like graphic design for a lot of the films I'm in. I'm wearing my Mildred Moyer shirt right now.
I saw that. I was like,
yeah,
super awesome. Yes,
thanks.
love it.
So like I make things like that for films sometimes, and I make posters. A lot of these posters, actually I don't think any of those ones, but a lot of the posters that are released I've made. Yeah, things like that. And I love doing behind the scenes photography. I would do that for anybody ever. Like, it's just, I don't know why. It's just like a passion of mine. I just love it so much. So yeah, those kinds of things for sure. But I don't think I would ever want to be like
a director.
I would love to be a director. I mean, I'm assistant directing for theater right now. I would love to be a director for film one day. I just don't think that's where I am right now. I like to just, I like to do my thing. I want to act and that kind of stuff. But I think one day I will. I think one day I will be mostly directing, to be honest. Yeah.
Do you get when you're out? I don't know if you go to horror conventions or, but do you get people like recognize who you are? Like, oh my god, that's Mildred Moyer.
Yeah, it does happen. When I'm in Edmonton, it actually happens quite often. Or I'll get people will stare at me, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I go up to them and I say hi, and they're like, I know you from somewhere. I've seen you in something, and they just can't, like they can't connect it or whatnot, but they know that they know me from something. And it's always like makes me slightly on the spot too. I kind of have to be like, okay, do you know me from Grotesque? And then they're like, no. Like, do you know me from my haunted? I have to kind of go through the list. And then they're like, oh, that one, that's what I saw you in. But yeah, I do get recognized just like at the grocery store or like at Starbucks or whatever all the time in Edmonton. And actually in my hometown, obviously, as well. But that's more understandable, I suppose. It's a smaller place. I get recognized pretty much everywhere I go, which kind of sucks in some aspects because you have like no anonymity. You can't go to the grocery store in your pajamas anymore. Not allowed. But it's really nice in another way too, because people just automatically, smile at you and want to talk to you and like you and all of those things. So that's really wholesome in another way. Yeah.
I actually went to a convention a couple weeks ago, and like my show is called a horror room, so I do indie reviews. But someone said, "Oh my god, you're the face of horror guy." I'm like, face of horror? I was like, oh, I did the interview that's about how that competition is a scam.
Oh yeah.
And it became like a big video. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm known as a face of horror guy. I was like, I want to be known as the indie horror interview guy, not the face of horror guy. But okay,
yeah.
I mean, at least somebody recognize who I am.
Yeah, for real. Like that kind of stuff happens all the time. There's a few videos, like this one, for example, where I appear in other people's videos, and people will comment on it and be like, oh, that's the girl from blank, and just like the most obscure things, like that's the girl from like this one video one time like 7 years ago, and I'm like, why is that what you know me from? Like, okay, whatever.
Like, hey, listen, you recognize me for something, so. All right, so let's do something fun. I got 2 random horror questions for you, Elizabeth. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Number 1, since you are a horror woman villain, who is your favorite?
My favorite horror woman villain?
Of all time.
Oh, that's a good one. This isn't necessarily horror, but she is like an evil woman. really, really love Angelina Jolie's Maleficent. Oh my God. Like to die for that, like changed my life. I know it's just like kind of a nowadays it's not really that big of a movie, but like when I saw that movie, it really did change things for me. And actually, Mildred Moyer, when Brandon wrote it for me, I think we were meeting about I'm Haunted, and he asked me like, if you could be any character, like what's your dream character, what's your dream role? And I told him I would want to play a villain that people felt bad for. And I was thinking about Maleficent. I really was thinking about that. That was just, yeah, it just was revolutionary for me. But I said that, and then that is what he ended up writing Mildred Moyer around me for. He had already had the script like kind of on the back burner from something else, and he rewrote it basically for me based on me saying that I really want to play a villain that people feel bad for, that people root for, that people want them to win. And obviously Mildred Moyer and Maleficent are quite different.
Yes.
but that's at least where the inspiration kind of came from. So that's what I'd have to say. There's actually not a lot of female villains in horror out there, really.
I did a ranking. I did a ranking a couple days ago, and like people send me emails on different rankings to do, and somebody said do a ranking of the 5 hottest female villains in horror movies. I'm like,
and I'm on there, right?
Huh? Well, I did not put you on it. I didn't think of you. I'm telling you right now. I should have done. I was wrecking my brain. Listen, no, I'm gonna put you. Listen, I'm gonna do a. I'm being serious. I'm gonna do an indie horror edition soon. But I was wrecking my brain. I was like, how many women horror movie villains? And, I went through like, okay, Kathy Bates and is that her name? Yeah, and Misery. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, Aaliyah was in Queen of the Dam. Okay, but it took me a while. And my list was Pearl. I don't know if you've seen Pearl. Have you seen Pearl?
No.
Oh, amazing movie, by the way. Amazing. Watch Pearl. Mia Goth should have got an Academy Award for her role in the horror movie. So great. But like, it was Pearl. Jeez, I forgot who. I know it was the Queen of the Dam, and Salma Hayek was number 1. Oh, Alyssa Sutherland from Evil Dead Rises, the mom.
Yeah, okay, that's probably one of the ones that I like thought of first when you said horror movie like female villain. I was like, yeah, the mom. But yeah, it's not a lot.
It's not. All right, who's your favorite final girl?
My favorite what? Final girl?
A final girl. You're the hero in a horror movie.
Oh, hero in a horror movie. Let's think. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't watch a lot of horror movies, to be honest. I've acted in probably more horror films than I've watched. I don't know. Favorite female hero in a horror movie. I don't know. Who's yours?
Mine is Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode from the Halloween. I mean,
yeah,
strong woman, great mother, single mother, and all that good stuff, and badass. And
yeah, love it.
Yep, that's definitely my. Yeah, I would love to meet Jamie Lee Curtis. I would love to interview her. She is the. I mean, she's the original like badass woman in a horror movie. So she's the OG. All right, Elizabeth. So where can everyone find you?
Honestly, I've been pretty lucky with my social media and online presence. It's pretty easy to find me. There's not a lot of competition for my name. It's such a long name. I think that's why. But yeah, so you can go like www.elizabethchamberlain.com. That's me. I'm on Facebook as Elizabeth Chamberlain. My Instagram is at Elizabeth Chamberlain. My Facebook is actually at Elizaberlain. It's like ELIZABERLAIN. It's because my name's too long. It wouldn't fit. And same thing for Twitter, and same thing for TikTok. But I'm on all of those places. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on IMDb. I am, I think, the 4th Elizabeth Chamberlain, on IMDb. And yeah, and I'm also on all of the actor websites for casting agents. Like I'm on Actors Access and Backstage and Mandy Casting and Casting Networks and Casting Frontier, all of those places. And my YouTube. We're on
Oh, you have
YouTube
YouTube?
right now.
Oh,
I
sweet.
have a YouTube. Yeah, Elizabeth. It's same thing. YouTube.com/Elizabeth Chamberlain is my YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So what do you do on your YouTube?
a lot of interviews that I do like this, you don't have to, but a lot of times they'll send me the video and I'll post them
Yeah.
there. Sometimes I post movie trailers for the movies that I'm in. Honestly, the majority of what I do is just like I did this thing and I videoed it and now
Oh, that's
it's on
cool.
YouTube. It's kind of like a blog in a way, but not really. And I
Yeah.
do some music. I'm a singer and a songwriter, so that's where
Yes.
I put all my stuff there. It's kind of a smorgasbord. It's kind of just like a
All right. So I gotta find you
yeah.
on YouTube and subscribe to your channel as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
everyone,
subscribed
please.
to you today, so if you get the
Oh,
little notification, that might help.
okay. Well, listen, Elizabeth, it's been amazing. If you ever want to come on and promote anything, I would love to have you back on.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, you've been great.
Thank you, and look out for the indie hot horror villain. You're definitely getting on that top 5.
I hope you do that.
Yeah, so you will be on that top 5. But listen, everyone, please check out Elizabeth, YouTube, Instagram. Check out Grotesque and I Am Haunted, streaming right now on Tubi. Excellent movies. I've seen both of them. And look out for her and everything from what's it called? Curse of the Waters.
Yeah, Cursed Waters. Yeah.
Cursed Waters. You got Alien Storm, Grotesque 2, and I Am Haunted Part 2. All right, everyone. Well, please hit that like and subscribe button. And thank you for coming to the horror room. And I'm Travis Bruce. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.